Welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex. It's an emotional rollercoaster of games this week, Bajo, beginning with the pure joy of leaping through a rainbow fantasy landscape with Robot Unicorn Attack 2.
Then there's the nail-biting, frantic four-player co-op of Monaco. What's yours is mine. Oops! Whoops!
Dead.
And things are as dark and grim as ever for the survivors of the apocalypse in Metro Last Light.
The massive airlock doors shrugged and opened with a grinding sound, opening a road to hell for us.
Plus, Dave Callan is back to lay down the law and new tiny power.
But first, can you guess the game for this week? Why don't you rainbow leap off to the news, Bajo?
Okay, Hex.
Good game.
Hi there. Developer Fifth Cell and publisher Warner Brothers are being sued for copyright infringement by the creators of Keyboard and Nyan Cat memes. Due to their inclusion in versions of Scribblenauts, Nyan Cat's creator noted the game forbids you from making copyright references. However, the publisher and developer had refused to acknowledge their intellectual property and used the memes for profit without their consent. Electronic Arts has announced that it has secured an exclusive license to create and publish games based on the Star Wars franchise. EA has confirmed their studios DICE, Visceral and BioWare will all work on Star Wars games aimed at the core audience. However, no specific projects were announced. Meanwhile, Disney will remain responsible for creating mobile and social games based on the franchise.
You assumed no force could challenge you.
Gearbox and Sega have been hit with a class action lawsuit alleging that they falsely advertised Aliens Colonial Marines. The suit alleges that public demos claimed to be actual gameplay and showed graphics, AI, and levels that bore little resemblance to the final game. Furthermore, by putting reviews under embargo until the day of release, consumers could not learn of the discrepancy until pre-orders had already been shipped. Gearbox responded to the lawsuit, calling it beyond meritless, adding that they intend to defend the rights of entertainers to share works in progress without fear of litigation.
Good game.
There were a lot of things that made the original Robot Unicorn Attack memorable. The fast-paced action, the rainbows, the dolphins, the twisted sweetness of it all, and of course that theme song.
Always
Which I just got out of my
wanna
head.
be. Well, you better prepare yourself, Bajo, because Robot Unicorn Attack 2 has twice as many dolphins, twice as many rainbows, and it's so sweet it could put you into a sugar coma. Make a wish.
Robot Unicorn Attack 2 is in many ways more of the same, but everything that the original game did, it does bigger and brighter in this sequel. The backgrounds are weird and wonderful, looking like some sort of lush alien world full of waterfalls and floating mountains. There are also new abilities, enemies, and a load of new challenges.
More importantly, though, you can now customize your very own unicorn, and that is a sentence I've always wanted to say out loud. As you collect teardrops in the game, you can spend them on a new horn, some wings, or a paint job for your unicorn pal. This adds some extra replayability beyond just score chasing. But it does make you wince a bit when your painstakingly upgraded steed gets zapped by a giant.
Yes, it makes it more personal, doesn't it? Especially if you make the mistake of naming your unicorn. Poor Mr. Nibbles.
You got too close, Bajo.
Beyond the customization, there's also a new ranking system, and completing challenges will allow you to unlock new abilities like extended dash or even unlimited flight. My favourite was the vacuum boost, which drags pickups towards you, making collecting those teardrops that much easier.
A community element has also been added. You can now compete in challenges on behalf of either Team Inferno or Team Rainbow in order to win more teardrops to upgrade your unicorn. You can defect to the other team if your team's doing badly, but it will cost you a lot of teardrops to do so.
In fact, all the unlockables can be unlocked with teardrops. You start with one song and one world, and then when you hit rank 15, you get another of both. But if you're impatient, you can just purchase the songs individually.
I couldn't resist buying the never-ending story track, Bajo.
Turn around, look at what you see.
When you're flying along with your winged flaming unicorn and a giant seahorse floats by in the background, I mean, that song just fits perfectly.
Never-ending story.
You you can't really blame them for charging for songs when they've made the game itself available for free.
Agreed. Final thoughts, Hex?
Well, if it's possible, I had more fun with this than I did with the original. It's a simple concept, but the added upgrades and competitive element just kept me coming back for more. So I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 rainbow dashes.
I think a game like this does have a limited shelf life, but it is fabulous. I'm giving it 7 out of 10.
Now, we should find out what's happening with Norm's game in Tiny Power.
Look, if you've got an issue with aiming for perfection...
No, I've got an issue with you being so afraid of rejection that you keep picking and picking and picking to avoid ever releasing anything. Hey, someone's posted a comment about the game. Ball Source 666. This game sucks, therefore you suck. All caps.
Ah! Rejection.
Hey man, hate is gonna hate, just let it go.
And the animation's shit.
He's dead.
Okay, his IP address puts him on level 16.
Oh, this old Streets of Rage pipe is gonna get a workout tonight.
I bet he's a genius.
I don't know, he misspelled you. Oh!
If it wasn't a controlled demolition, then how do you explain the traces of thermite found in the dust, idiot?
I get it. He's just like me.
See, Norm, you can't make a game that everyone likes because some people don't like anything.
Wait, there, wedged underneath his abdominal apron. A copy of XCOM.
So?
Don't you see? We just need to add in some turn-based strategy. Come on, let's go.
Hang about.
How do you explain the traces of thermite?
Good game.
Brought to us by Pocket Watch Games, Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine is a top-down action stealth co-op type game where you team up with a bunch of friends to perform elaborate heists. Things start out fairly simple but can get out of hand really quickly.
We're in. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Ah! I set off an alarm. Get all the monies, get all the monies.
Disguise is foolproof.
Another alarm! I set off this one too! They got confused with the more alarms I set off. I'm already at the exit, so...
Where's the exit? Oh, it's up there.
Do it. Run the gauntlet.
Despite being in a top-down view, the game operates on line of sight, so you can't see what's around corners or behind walls. This means you could be walking straight into the firing line of a guard or henchman at any moment.
Ow. Ow, dead.
But the game does throw you a bone because it allows you to toggle on the line of sight view of everyone on your team, so you can see what your heist buddies are seeing.
You can have a maximum of 4 in your group with multiple benefits to having a full team. Like any good heist, your group will be made up of a crafty set of characters, each with a unique skill set. Most characters are available from the start, but you unlock some as you go as well.
There's the cleaner who can knock out unsuspecting enemies.
Sneaking. Sneaking.
The gentleman who uses disguises. The pickpocket who has a monkey that collects loot without being detected.
Go monkey, go! Go monkey!
And a bunch of others.
Oh, I can't beat your monkey.
I liked using the mole because he can dig through walls.
It's still just go through the whole mold print.
Yeah, I use a locksmith the most because he can get through locked doors so much more quickly, and that was often my only means of escape. Each character also has a secondary ability, like being able to use medkits faster or get into hiding spots quicker. These sound like tiny details, but any advantage that saves you time can be what keeps you up and running for another round of adrenaline-pumping thievery.
One thing that I thought was great was the no man is left behind policy. Every single player needs to make it to the exit alive. So while it certainly helps having more players with a wider range of skills, it also means many heroic but sneaky rescue and revive attempts when one of your comrades falls.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
You're gonna have to revive me after this so we'll die, saving everyone.
I'm getting out of there.
That revive sound though, that's really weird. What is that?
What is that? It sounds like, I don't even know. That leave no man behind mechanic is really good though, isn't it? Because it just promotes good cooperative play.
Oh dude. That's why we needed band-aids. Stop shooting me.
I mean, you're all there to help each other out. The mole is particularly good with revives though, because he can bypass those tricky corridors that are filled with goons and just tunnel straight through to where you've fallen. Brilliant.
Oh, I just scored the payload.
Each snappy level involves trying to collectively snatch up all the loot and make a speedy getaway, sometimes with other objectives to complete as well. But your heist rarely goes off without a hitch, and chaos breaks out pretty quickly.
Fine.
When some areas have locked alarm doors, you have to bypass security systems.
I'm hacking stuff.
No, get to street level. Let's do it.
And switch off power.
I set off an alarm.
Quick, cut the power. Cut the power.
And then there's sections that have turrets and helicopters or goons with heavy weapons.
Yeah, and that's tough because for the most part you're defenseless. Occasionally you can pick up weapons like shotguns or crossbows, grab enough coins and you'll get an extra round. But when things go wrong, you're out of ammo fast. Then you're back to skulking around corners and hiding in bushes. It's got just the right amount of challenge versus team herding.
Yeah, I always thought it worked well when we had one clear leader who was calling the shots. A sort of Danny Ocean, if you will, because that way everyone knew what they were doing. I mean, some games I played online with randoms with no voice chat were just a mess. I thought the game had a great visual style though.
Yeah, it's a good example of how to keep something simple but still deliver a really artful aesthetic, not unlike the showdown effect from a few weeks ago. It's just oozing with clever design, all in that 60s spy movie style, and it works really well.
You know, I thought it almost had a bit of a slapstick vibe as well, with all the guards yelling in French while you and your team are running in and out of slamming doors and vents.
Yeah, there's certainly something manic and hilarious about trying to keep track of what you and your whole team are doing amidst all of the chaos.
I did not knock him out as intended.
But there's always that great moment when you're all in the exit and there's just one player still stuck out there, and you're all just watching them trying to get through the minefield alive so you can move to safety. Ah, it's great.
You can sneak when guards haven't already been alerted to your presence, which lessens the chance of you being detected, but I just get so bored sneaking. You know, it just doesn't suit the pace of the game. Sometimes you just gotta get in there and go for it.
I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for it. Oh, it's a free-for-all. Oh, it's a free-for-all.
I think I was always the one that was tripping alarms and making a mess of things.
Things are not going well.
I mean, define well.
You're the Matt Damon.
Yes, I'm the Matt Damon of this heist.
You can just throw stealth to the wind and make a mad dash to break line of sight, although many levels have dogs that will sniff you out, so that rarely works.
Yeah, I died a lot. Final verdict?
It's clever and it's fun with friends. It's the sort of game that you'll play if you want to have a quick go of something snappy online. I'm giving it 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's really well priced, so I'm giving it 8.
And now here's Dave.
Hello. Stay a while and listen, because I was born in the 70s and know more stuff than you. Not in an egotistical way, I just remember consoles when they were partially made of wood. So have you ever wondered how much that guy gets paid whose job it is at the start of Resident Evil games to go Resident Evil? Like per word. Sometimes he gets to say extra words like revelations. That would have been an exciting day in the office.
There was this incident involving zombies.
I wonder if that guy gets any gigs with any other games. Cooking mama. This is the sort of thing that keeps me awake at night. Also, where did the zombies come from? Well, apparently it all started when the zombie progenitor virus was discovered in 1966 in West Africa and originated from a flower called Stairway of the Sun, a pleasant-sounding flower which thrived in unusual conditions deep within a cave system. So this flower, despite being flora, had the capacity to regenerate human skin tissue. Now, I'm no botanist, but unlikely.
It's sheer perfection.
The sneaky Umbrella Corporation decided to reverse engineer the heck out of it to destroy skin tissue, unleashing the virus which mutates all humans except Mila Jovovich, who suffers a curious side effect where she has to backflip about in skin-tight clothing. That's the movie and these are the games. However, the differences don't stop there. For example, in the movies, the characters don't take suspicious green herbs they find lying about in haunted houses. Seriously, why would you do that? Why would you take green herb in a haunted house? Surely you would be paranoid enough. Anyway, Umbrella Corporation, who are full of bright ideas, decided to blend the progenitor virus with leech DNA, as you do. And that is what created the tyrant strain of the virus, which is just asking for a mansion full of zombies. Which, of course, is no big deal as long as you have on your side Fat MacGyver. Run, or he will eat you.
A dining room.
So, until next time, avoid taking herbs you find in spooky houses, avoid eating flowers you find randomly in a cave. If you do, make sure you get some skin-tight clothing and start backflipping, because that's your only hope. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to talk a little bit more like this.
Good game.
Thanks, Dave. Before we get into our Metro Last Light review, I think it's fair that we remind everyone it's pretty much a depression simulator, just like the last game. So we'll do what we can to lighten the mood throughout this review. Okay, let's get sad, everyone. All the time.
I remember so many random, unnecessary things. Yet I don't remember the most important one. My mother's face. She died very soon after the war started. All that remains of her is that day in the gardens. How I wished I could recall her face. The way she looked at me. The way she whispered that I have nothing to fear. I'd sell my soul just to recall that. I'd do that any day, any time.
Metro Last Light continues the story of Artyom and his struggle to survive beneath post-apocalyptic Moscow. The bombs went off around 20 years ago, leaving the surface uninhabitable, and the metro tunnels are the last stand for the human race. Everyone is cold, hungry, and diseases infesting the community. The world is full of decay topside, but out-surviving the radiation isn't the biggest problem. There's bandit gangs, other city factions, and even Nazis who are constantly causing unrest.
This is an outrage! I told you to stay still!
On top of all that, a whole host of mutated creatures are after you. What, kittens?
Oh, kittens! Hey, little guy.
Kittens do. Oh, that's cute.
Cats. I thought we'd put some cats in to lighten the mood.
Oh, great idea.
Cats.
Aww.
The story revolves around the last of the Dark Ones, and Artyom has a strange connection to it. The last game was based on the book, but this one isn't based on its sequel, but apparently the developer has been working with the original writer. The dialogue is mostly quite interesting and well written and well voiced, and there's some really dark themes this game deals with as well.
Yeah, and it is an atmospheric and immersive world to be in, but like we said, it's super depressing all the time. I mean, even the loading screens need to cheer up a bit.
Pavel's almost certainly going to hang. Who knows? What would have happened to me?
As you wander the underground tunnels, every single character has some morbid and long tale of woe.
In the past, trains were ordinary things. But now, this monorail seems magic, doesn't it?
And Romanov's the only one who makes it there alive.
Last time it was our neighbors. This time, it's us. It'll be long before Führer has this station to himself.
But what do we do now?
Oh, kitty cat.
Oh, that's cute.
Kitty cat.
Oh, look at that. That's
what
gorgeous.
You doing? What you doing?
He's so cute.
Oh, what are you doing?
He's so cute.
What are you doing, cat? In fact, I'd argue that most of this game is designed to force you to watch all of these stories and pay attention to it. It's constantly slowing you down and taking control away from you. In fact, I'd say it actually redefines slow walking and makes it a feature.
Well, we've worn this place out. Let's move.
Yeah, even in the city areas and some other areas as well, you're dragged down to the pace of like an old man walking up some stairs.
It's so frustrating from a gamer's perspective because you feel like there's always someone just holding your hand and pointing, going, look at this content we make. Be sad, sad, sad.
When are we going to go home?
Soon. Very soon.
Every NPC walks so slowly too, so you're often waiting for them to catch up or finish their dialogue, and some won't mind this so much because it is mostly interesting subject matter and dialogue.
The tombs of ancient kings were filled with whatever they might need in the afterlife. Weapons, gold, chariots. Serve their lords even in death.
But just not being given the choice to be able to ignore it or move on a bit quicker, I mean, to me that verges on indulgent design.
Yeah, I like it when stories try to be told around you, and it's good that they've tried that, but like you said, they're forcing you to. It kind of takes the magic away from observational narrative. Also, sometimes they put cobwebs up, and you have to walk through cobwebs. Slow you down even more, burn them away. And at one point, I actually got stuck between 3 NPCs all having a really sad conversation about someone whose husband had died, and I couldn't get out. I was trapped.
No.
No.
Oh, just let me out. Oh.
The good news is the action is thrilling. Weapons handled perfectly, and there's solid strategy in the weapons you pick, how much you customize them, and how you manage your reloads. There are times you'll need to switch between weapons quickly to fight off nasties rather than reload, and actually all the gunplay is satisfying.
I especially like the quad barrel shotgun. You can never have too many barrels.
No. There's a focus on stealth as well, and you'll enjoy taking out lights and sneaking about in the dark. This is a very forgiving mechanic, so I think they've softened it a little bit from the first game.
Hey, what the?
Ammo is nice and scarce too, especially if you forget to buy some when you're in town, which I did all the time. But even fully stocked, you'll often cheer for joy when you come upon a convenient dead body with stacks of ammo. I didn't think the enemy AI was revolutionary, but I like the way that they react to your presence.
Yeah, I like the way they took hits as well. Also, there's toxic air everywhere, and if you run out of filters for your mask, it's death. I love those masked sections, Bajo. Wiping the grit and dirt away from your face, rushing to the next section, the muffled breathing, I mean, it just adds so much to the atmosphere.
There's a handful of confusing what do I switch or click moments that got me killed a few times, such as in this railcar section. I think they could have done a better job on direction in these toxic areas because you've got that time limit before your mask filter runs out and you die. And at one point I got stuck at a checkpoint running out of air with no filters, and every time I loaded the game, I died within seconds. So I had to restart the entire chapter.
Yeah, I know why they've done it though. It creates that sense of panic. I mean, those toxic sections are meant to be stressful, unfamiliar situations. You're not meant to be there and you're not meant to like it.
Yeah, and they do pull that off. I did enjoy those sections up top especially. It's a truly hostile environment.
Yeah, it's great up top, especially later in the game when you're pursuing the Dark One while fighting off huge enemy platoons. There are some spectacular set pieces and excellent hallucination moments. We played on console, and while the colour palette is quite washed out, visually it's still very interesting. You know, there's some nice areas of contrast, but it's still one of the brownest games we've played in a long time.
Yes, I almost missed brown games, Hex. Not quite though.
No.
I like the amount of detail, and there are some slick effects here and there, such as in the fiery catacombs.
One thing I was really disappointed with was the way women are represented in this game, and that stripper scene was just full on and pointless and just a bit gross.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't sexy, and it served no purpose to the narrative or the game. I'm getting a bit tired of those stripper scenes, to be honest, just sitting down and paying money to watch someone dance.
Yeah, and
point.
I don't think I'm being prudish about it. I have no issue when a strip club is a setting for a particular scene to take place, and there's some, you know, chicks in the background, scantily clad or what have you, but having them like full on like grind up against you and they're naked with their boobs out, I mean, I just think that's unnecessary.
So, would you like some more?
Another thing I found a bit odd is that your character is so involved in what's going on and with so much of the dialogue, and yet he has no voice. And normally this isn't much of an issue, but it did make for some pretty strange interactions.
Yeah, essentially, no one can talk to you unless they're asking you a question that is rhetorical.
Who goes there? Stand still or we shoot. We're armed.
We are armed. Swear by Lenin's name.
He doesn't look like a GB. I don't recognize the uniform.
Could he be one of ours?
I still think all the voice actors do a great job, though, at creating this atmosphere and this whole end of days vibe.
Yeah, I think all in all, if you can put up with the slow pace of everything, it's definitely one of the more different linear shooters out there, and it reminds you what's so great about the likes of Fallout and Stalker.
There is a lot to like here, especially those end of days hallucination flashback moments, and I tried so hard to get into this game, Hex, but at the end I just felt like I'd had one good fight each hour, and the rest of the time I was just being dragged through this depressing dialogue, and all that control was taken away from me so much. But there are some truly exciting and unique moments in this game, and I didn't regret playing it, but I'm still going to give it 6 out of 10 kitten videos.
Well, I think even though all the characters seem to blend into each other towards the end, sitting down to Last Light felt like sitting down to a drink with an old comrade. Plus, the action really ramps up about 7 hours in, so I'm giving it 7.5 kitten videos.
Good game.
So, did you guess the game for this week? Little feet move. What's his name?
His name is McGiggles Gherkins.
I think you should call him Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
It was Whacked from 2002, a kind of twisted game show in which contestants brutally compete for whatever they wish. It was one of the very first games to be available on Xbox Live.
How's the trophy?
Next week on the show, things get strange, because they're not usually, but very strange, with Xenoclash 2.
And things get even weirder with Deadly Premonition, the director's cut.
You don't have to be a tree worshiper to appreciate the wildlife.
Zach, let's reassess the situation. There are no cavemen here. We're as far forward as the Middle Ages. And we've just met the king.
Over on Spawn Point this weekend, we head off into the final frontier in our space special with reviews of Star Drive and Star Command.
Thanks to everyone who tweeted along tonight, and sorry we couldn't fit in all the cat videos that you sent us, but we did enjoy them immensely. Until next week, Banjo out.
Hex out.
Right, time to be free, little one.
Oh, he's off.
Bye.
How far will he go?
Oh, they leave the nest eventually.
Barbie horse riding adventures.